Two alien girls knelt in chains, trembling under the auction lights. He was ordered to choose just one. But when he saw the way they clung to each other, he made a choice no human ever dared. The holding chamber stank of oil, metal, and fear. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, flickering against the polished concrete as the two alien girls were pushed to their knees, wrists cuffed, ankles chained, collars blinking red. The auctioneer barked something in trade common, too fast for most to understand, but the meaning was clear. This was a reward. A gift. A prize to be chosen. The human man stood still as the heavy door behind him clanked shut. He wasn't a soldier. Wasn't a buyer. Just a mechanic who'd patched up a critical life support system during a firefight, and now, according to this fringe colony's brutal customs, he was owed something. They offered him 2 lives. The girls looked like sisters, but weren't. Not by species, one with glistening blue skin like riverstone, deep-set eyes shining with gold, lips trembling with each breath. The other pale lavender, her long hair braided in desperation, her frame smaller, curled in a protective posture. But their hands, tightly clasped, told the truth. They had no one else but each other. The auctioneer shouted again, gesturing impatiently. 1, he barked, then jabbed a stubby finger toward the smaller girl. 2. The man didn't move. The crowd murmured, humans and aliens alike, gathered to see this strange reward system unfold. The 2 girls looked up, eyes wide, terrified. The smaller one's lip bled from where she'd bitten it. The older girl shifted forward, defensive. Her voice cracked, translated through the collar. Please, if you take her, she's afraid alone. The man's jaw tightened. He hadn't asked for this. All he wanted was to get off this station and forget the war entirely. But now, these 2 terrified beings were presented to him like tools. Like weapons. Like pets. I won't separate them, he said evenly. A murmur ran through the crowd. The auctioneer scoffed. No, rules clear. One only. You pick, or both go back in rotation. He raised a hand, and a shock burst rippled across the girls' collars. They cried out, one shielding the other instinctively. The man stepped forward, anger coiling in his gut. You said it's a reward. Then let me choose. I choose them both. The auctioneer blinked, offended. Unacceptable. Against the law. Take one, or take none. The girls had stopped crying now, just breathing hard, still clinging to each other. The lavender one whispered, Don't let them split us, please. He stared down at them. Neither girl tried to beg for herself. Only for the other. The choice was obvious, but cruel. He didn't hesitate. He dropped his tool belt, stepped onto the platform, and reached down. Both of you get up. They didn't understand at first. He tapped his chest, then pointed to them, then to the exit. With me. Now. Guards moved. Weapons clicked. The crowd tensed. But the girls obeyed, staggering up despite their chains. One guard shouted in protest, aiming a stun rod at the mechanic's back. But the man turned first, his voice low, dangerous. You said reward. You never said I couldn't carry it out my way. The auctioneer snarled, until someone whispered in his ear. A ranking officer, recognizing the mechanic now. The human who'd saved 312 lives by keeping oxygen flowing on Deck 14 during the bombardment. One of the survivors owed their daughter's life to him. The officer nodded once, to let it happen. The auctioneer scowled, but stepped back. Fine, he hissed. You take both. Don't come back. The man didn't reply. He helped the girls down the steps, slow, careful. They limped beside him, bare feet scraping the cold floor. The older one whispered, You'll be punished for this, but he just glanced at her, soft but firm. Not if we don't look back. They walked through the halls, silent eyes watching, guards parting. His ID still had clearance. His status, earned in blood and engine grease, still carried weight. They made it to his ship. A small freighter, patched, ugly but fast. The girls flinched at the ramp's hiss, but he never let go of their hands. Inside, he sat them gently on the cushioned bench and knelt beside them. First, no one owns you. Not now. Not ever again. The lavender one looked like she might collapse from relief. The blue-skinned girl stared at him like she couldn't believe he was real. Why? She asked. Why would you take both? He exhaled, sitting back on his heels. Because I saw the way you held on to each other. And I know what it means to be alone. You kept each other alive. That deserves freedom, not separation. The ship rumbled to life. They jumped, but he smiled, hands raised. Don't worry. Just the warm-up coils. The older one leaned closer, voice barely audible. We don't even know your name, he gave it, simply. Then asked for theirs. The younger's voice trembled. Selly. The other, Isha. He nodded once. Well, Selly. Isha. You're safe now. They sat there, unmoving, until Selly suddenly wrapped her arms around him. Trembling. Clinging. And Isha, after a moment, followed. The man closed his arms around them both, quietly, gently. Outside, the stars blurred into motion. The auction platform faded behind them, and for the first time in what might have been years, neither girl was alone.